What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Coronavirus Sports Boredom Show. This is Ethan, here with JD, and we've got a big day, by coronavirus standards, of sports news to talk with you. And we're going to start it off with the recent trade. Shocking news that sent the retired tight end Rob Gronkowski, reunited him with his teammate, the GOAT, debatably, Tom Brady, and they're now teammates in Tampa Bay. What are your thoughts on that trade? How this fits for Gronk, for Tampa, and if the Patriots got enough back in return?
Well, also, shout out to Seeds. Good stuff. Anyways, so, I think it's pretty cool. Brady and Gronk, one of the two most dynamic duos in history of NFL and football. I think it's pretty cool. Gronk's been debating about coming back. He's obviously, getting older now. He's been retired. But I'm excited for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got Cameron Brate and Gronk now. They had one more tight end. I think it was O.J. Howard. So you got three solid tight ends that could be starters in any NFL team. Then they still got Mike Evans and Godwin. Then they have Tom Brady. That's a solid team. Their defense is not bad. They got an offensive lineman yesterday in the draft, which we'll talk about later. I'm excited for the Tampa Bay team. I know everyone's been saying, well, they got to prove themselves first, but this puts them in some real contention. And Gronk's not going to be his former Gronk. We got to remember that. But then again, you're talking about Brady and Gronk here. They've been playing with each other for years. They won 3 rings together. It's going to be fun to see what they can do. I'm excited. I'm personally excited.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised at all if Gronk has a great season. We came out of after his retirement, we all kind of felt like he was coming back. It felt more like a break for him, a chance to reload, recharge, because it's a very demanding position that Gronk does. It's very demanding physically and mentally, being the biggest dude in the league and getting gang tackled and hit like crazy all the time. And you just felt like he was going to come back when the time was right. And I think this is a great opportunity for him to come back with Tom Brady. I still don't know what to think about Tom Brady being a Buccaneer. It's almost like when LeBron went to the Heat or even to the Lakers. It's just you can't picture.
Not that much. Not that much though.
I can't picture Tom Brady in a different uniform, but once I get past that mental block, I think this is going to be a great fit for Brady. I think this is going to be a great fit for Gronkowski. I think the Patriots got screwed over a little bit by only getting a late round draft pick upgrade. But that's player agency today, right? Gronk wasn't coming back for the Patriots, so the Patriots could virtually get nothing out of him anyway. We've seen players like Paul George, Russell Westbrook, just ask to leave, and they're allowed to leave. So that's the nature of sports now. The Patriots would have been hard-pressed to get more for him. But I don't expect Tampa to win a Super Bowl next year, but they've just made good move after good move and acquisition after acquisition, and they have made themselves into a legitimate contender. So I would not be surprised at all if this team possibly makes the playoffs next year.
I think they can win the division, to be honest with you. Not possibly, but I think it's a great move. But you did talk about the trade. I think it works out for New England great because Gronk's made it clear he's not playing for anyone else except Brady. That's obvious. That's part of his thing. He's obviously not going to come back to the Patriots. He's coming back to the NFL. He wants to play with Tom Brady. Patriots don't even want him back because the salary cap. They can't afford him, even they had Brady. So it's a win-win for the Patriots and the Buccaneers. I got Tampa as a top 4 team in the league right now. Top 3 team at least in the NFC.
In the league, though?
They're not in the league. Hey, that's a stretch, but here, in the NFC, they're a top 3 team for sure. Maybe top 4.
They're not even
borderline.
In their division, man.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
What about the Niners?
Wait. Let me get there.
What about the Saints?
I understand, but
you're not going to put them ahead of your Packers right now.
All right, now my 1-2 punch is Packers, Buccaneers probably. The Saints are good, but not good enough.
The Buccaneers have a lot to prove before I put them ahead of the ageless wonder Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. That is such a complete team. that is such a good all-around team, 13-3 last year, and they're not slowing down anytime soon. You cannot put a team that didn't even have a winning season last year ahead of one of the best teams for years in the NFC.
When you have the GOAT, you can.
So the GOAT and Gronk and a few other acquisitions, it's great, but it takes 50-some dudes to win a football game, to win a championship. And to me, those moves have made this team a contender, but the individual can only do so much. They are not as complete or as good all around a team as the Saints. I still don't anticipate them winning that division. I could see them getting in as a wild card, but they are not a top 3 team in the division in the league right now, or in the conference.
In the conference, I think so.
They're not better than New Orleans. They're just not.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
All right. Well, now with Gronk in the books and taken care of, we got some more big news in the MLB this time. The Boston Red Sox investigation was finished, the investigation into their sign stealing. The punishment was handed out. What are your thoughts on that punishment? Do you think it was sufficient? Do you think their findings are correct? What are your thoughts on this whole matter?
Well, going back to our last episode, we talked a little about the Astros, in our little banter when Barry Bonds came up at the end of the show. Personally, I think the MLB did pretty good here, not going to lie, overall. But the Red Sox, it's kind of a shame, not going to lie.
Yeah, I just don't think there was nearly enough done to that team. We're talking about the Astros, who had pretty minimal punishment already, but basically all they did is they got rid of a replay system operator who, with all due respect to JT Watkins, nobody's ever heard of him before, and he doesn't play that big of a role in the team. That said, there's a lot of guys behind the scenes that make the engine go, that make big league teams work. I'd love to be a front office behind the scenes dude one of these days. But that said, this one guy is not having that much impact on things. If they want to cheat again, they can get another replay system video operator or whatever he is. And also, they lose their second-round draft pick. Well, that sucks, but MLB draft is such a crapshoot anyway, and a second-round pick, I mean, it honestly doesn't mean that much.
But
Alex Cora being suspended was because of the Astro investigation, and they'd already gotten rid of him. So the punishment was incredibly minimal. It was practically nothing at all. To me, if you cheat to win something, you should not even get that world championship. The Astros should not have one, and the Red Sox should not have one, because that sends the message that you can win by cheating. That's absolutely wrong.
That's highly debatable there. I think the MLB did a fairly decent job here. I'm sure maybe more punishment should have been handed out. But then again, also, that guy is not fired, actually. He just can't be the video dude. He's not fired, though. He can be someone else. He can stay with the Red Sox.
So he can even stay with the organization?
Yes, he can, as far as I know.
What I'm seeing is suspended without pay through 2020. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, whether or not they back or whatnot. But that's beside the point. That's a minor issue.
But I still think the MLB did a fairly decent job. And again, I don't really care. Like I said last time, I'm just a Cubs fan in the MLB, and slightly Nationals. I got respect for them. I think the Angels are going to do some good stuff this year with Joe Madden. Cheating isn't the end of the world when it comes to base. I mean, hold up. Rephrase that.
Really?
Cheating, I mean that. Let me rephrase what I said. Cheating isn't like, if you cheat, I'm not going to have no respect for you. Sure, I lost great respect for the Astros and Red Sox. But then again, the legacy that they had is torched now. So there's always going to be an asterisk in my mind, in a lot of people's minds. Hopefully the MLB should do that. Maybe instead of removing the whole title completely, maybe they should just put an asterisk next to it, because that's what they do deserve. MLB did fairly decent here, but maybe they could do a little bit better next time.
Well, yeah, this is a challenge to me. This is a challenge to the integrity of our game. And the opinion that fans have on it and the way that people think about it is simply not enough for me. I feel like the MLB needs to step up and needs to enact a severe punishment to write the record books to set the record straight here, because to me, a lot of these guys probably don't care about what people think about them. They're used to tuning out the haters. They've also got a World Series ring, and that's bogus because that team cheated to win that World Championship. Taking away a second-round draft pick and suspending J.T. Watkins is not going to do anything to punish that team. They feel like I guarantee you, the Red Sox are that little kid running away from the apple cart, smiling and laughing because he got away with it. Because a second-round draft pick and a video replay system operator being suspended is not nearly enough punishment for that team. They should not even have a World Series championship.
But
even if you're going to let them keep it with
nothing's 100% proven again, like I said in the last show. So then again, we have to be mindful of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: if you're going to suspend people, if you're going to punish them, then they probably have proof.
I agree.
If they didn't have proof, I don't think they'd be punishing them at all.
Well, there's definitely some proof. I'm not saying we don't know what to extent is what I'm saying. So that's why stripping the whole title is sometimes a little ambiguous. But let's move on from this because I don't want another Barry Bonds moment here.
Yeah, if you guys want to go back and go and see us fight, go watch that video.
Yeah, episode 9. The Cincinnati Bengals had the first pick last night in the NFL draft. That's what we're going to talk about right now. They got Joe Burrow, obviously. That was pretty an obvious one. Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, the top 3, mostly everyone predicted. Then it got a little bit interesting later on. If you guys watched our NFL mock draft, you could see what we picked and stuff like that. But it was a pretty interesting draft. A lot happened. Offensive tackles were highly valued. Wide receivers fell late. Packers moved up to get a quarterback. I mean, and then the running back was taken. First running back was taken by the Chiefs. So Ethan, I mean, let's give me your top 3 teams that you think did the best. Give me your top 3 worst teams, and give me an overall analysis of different things that you think.
Sure. All right. So, in my opinion, the best picks in this draft, some of the best picks in this draft. 7th, the Panthers, a team that I believe you said in that draft, they need to take the best available defensive player. And for them to get possibly probably a top 3, top 5 player in this draft, to get Derek Brown out of Auburn, super high character guy. He's got a great story, great dude, as well as just an absolute force on the field. To get him 7th, that makes that team so much better. I think that's an absolutely outstanding pick. Another team that I think did a pretty good job was the pick after that, Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson. To me, that's the way, some people have complained because he doesn't really have a position, right? To me, that's the way the NFL is going. More versatility, the ability to bring pressure off the edge, to play the linebacker position, can drop into coverage. I just think he's such an effective all-around player, and even if he's not prepared to be a star in this league because of that skill set, I think that team is going to be able to utilize him right away more than some of these guys where they might have to wait their turn. And then, again, we talk about Jerry Jeudy, who I was saying was the best wide receiver in this draft. I think that there's a ton of wide receiver talent with CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs. To me, Jeudy was the best one in this draft, and for the Broncos to get him at 15, a team that needed a wide receiver, need weapons for Drew Lock, that's an outstanding pick. They're incredibly fortunate that he went down that far. As for picks that I did not agree with, I got to start it off with a team that does this a lot, and that's the New York Giants. They took Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle out of Georgia, and well, I think that getting an offensive tackle was a good pick for them. There was not an offensive tackle that was worth taking at 4. To me, if they wanted an offensive tackle, they should have traded down. Apparently they love Andrew Thomas. They feel really high on him. But to me, there are a bunch of good offensive tackles. There's Mekhi Becton. There's Tristan Wirfs. There was a lot of offensive tackle talent where they didn't need to get the first one off the board. So to me, and Jedrick Wills too, so many good offensive tackles. To me, they probably should have traded down with that pick, got something good in return, and then taken an offensive tackle later, or they should have went for a talented defensive player like Derek Brown or like Isaiah Simmons. To me, it was just too early to take any of the OTs in this draft. I think that was somewhat of a fail to take that pick at number 4. Another pick that I disagree with, I know we have conflicting opinions on this, the Chargers taking Justin Herbert out of Oregon at 6. I like Justin Herbert a lot. He's obviously a high-character guy. Dude's absolutely brilliant, really smart, great leader. But as he said on the program, he's not all head and no arm. He does have arm talent, but to me, it's not arm talent worthy of a top 6 pick. If the Chargers wanted Herbert, I think they could have safely traded down again, or they just should have taken a more talented player. If they wanted a quarterback, they were not going to get Tua. They were not going to get Joe. They would have been better off trading down and being able to snag Herbert later in this draft because he is not a top 10, top 6 talent, in my opinion. With all due respect to him, because he is a great player, I simply don't think you can put him that high. And then in terms of another pick that had me shaking my head a little bit, how about the Raiders taking Henry Ruggs out of Alabama as the first wide receiver in this draft? To me, he wasn't even a top 2 wide receiver, and I know he's good, but he wasn't even the best wide receiver at his school. Jerry Jeudy is a better wide receiver, and CeeDee Lamb is a better wide receiver. Again, I mean, there's so many picks that, so many more picks I could break down, not just the top 3, because the Cowboys making bank getting CeeDee Lamb late, as well as the Broncos. But to take Henry Ruggs first off the board, and this is no disrespect to him, he's a great player, and a lot of people are saying he has an NFL skill set. I simply would not have taken him as the number 1 wide receiver in this draft.
Okay. Well, I'm going to respond to a couple of what you said too, things you said. But I think the 3 winners of this draft by picks, I think, no particular order, obviously, but I think you got to look at the Vikings. I think they almost knocked it out of the park. They did pretty good. They got lucky with Justin Jefferson falling to them. I think that was a good pick for them with Stephon Diggs gone now. I think he should probably be gone a little earlier, but they got lucky with him. Then the Jeff Gladney, cornerback from TCU, I think he's going to be a good cornerback in the league. Maybe he's obviously not nothing special, but he's a guy who has a lot of potential. He could be like a Adrian Amos, different. He's versatile. He's good.
To me, there were just way too many of those guys taken and way too many cornerbacks. But he's one that definitely does have some potential.
Well, and the Vikings got him at 31, and there wasn't a lot. But then again, Xavier McKinney was still on the board. Definitely should have been taken. That's why I'll talk about it later with the Packers. But yeah,
I cannot believe Xavier McKinney did not get taken in the first round.
I agree.
It's a shocker to me.
Whoever gets him is going to get a steal. Whoever gets him is going to be a steal.
He's going to be an absolute steal. He's going to be a great one, and I feel really bad for him.
Yep.
Knowing he has that kind of talent, not being taken in the first round. That is an absolute travesty. I don't care that we got the best safety in the league in Eddie Jackson. If the Bears can get him in the second round, I would be absolutely thrilled. That would be amazing. I still don't think you can 40-some. He's going to be snapped up early in that second round if anybody has a brain, which by not taking him, many teams demonstrated that they don't.
Well, it all depends on each team, so their needs and everything. But when I look at another winner too of the night, honorable mention, Cowboys. They got lucky with CeeDee Lamb. I think it's a pretty good fit for them. But the problem with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott has a lot of pressure on him. And if they don't fulfill, that could be a disaster for CeeDee Lamb and them. Broncos got lucky with Jeudy. It's a good pick. Not bad. But when I look at another winner, the Raiders, I don't think it was a bad pick. I like it. I think Henry Ruggs fits better on the Raiders than Jerry Jeudy would have. But then again, it all depends. And John Gruden knows. I think Ruggs is a great player. He might be a little better than Judy. Who knows? Time will tell. But when I look at another winner, I'm looking at the Miami Dolphins. I mean, everyone probably thought that they're obviously going to take Tua. Some people thought Herbert at the end. Then later they got a cornerback from Auburn, Noah. I don't know how to say his last name. No disrespect to him, but again with the cornerbacks, I don't know why they're taking a cornerback, but they did get Tua. I like the pick. Bengals did get Burrow. They did what they needed to do. Redskins got Chase Young. But I think the real winner of the whole entire draft might come down to the Cleveland Browns for me. And the reason is, I think they got the best offensive tackle in the draft. That's why I do have a problem with the Giants taking an offensive tackle at 4, who's, in my opinion, not even the best offensive tackle in the draft. And the Browns at 10, that's not too early to take an offensive tackle. The Jets took Becton at 11. And Becton probably fits the Jets better, but I think the Browns really needed a good offensive tackle before they can do anything else because their offensive line was proven to be horrible. So they can protect Baker, Nick Chubb, OBJ, maybe he stays, Jarvis, Landry. So I think offensive tackle was a good pick for the Browns, and that's why I really like them. I think they did a good job in the draft, as so did the Vikings. The losers in the draft, the Packers, man. We traded up. We're making the same mistake the Bears did a couple of years ago, but ours wasn't as early, so good thing it was late.
You guys traded up to get a dude who's probably not going to play for 4 or 5 years right now.
And we could have got him if we didn't trade up. But whatever. Teams do that.
And I mean, you guys need help, man. You're not exactly.
Here's the thing. I'm not mad about the pick, but the only reason I'm mad at it is because we could have had a guy who could have helped out Rodgers. We could have traded up. If we were going to trade up, we should have got a wide receiver. We should have got James McKinney. That's who I wanted the Packers to get. I was hoping Ruggs would have fell, but he went 12. I hope we were getting Jefferson. I hope we got someone. That's where I have the problem because there's guys in this draft that could have helped Rodgers. I have no problem taking a quarterback, but that's where I dislike it. So
he's not going to play for you anyway.
Rodgers isn't close to retiring. The Packers aren't going to move on from.
One thing to sit a guy for 2 seasons, even 3 seasons. He could be sitting for 4 or 5 seasons. He's not going to stay in Green Bay and just back up Aaron Rodgers for that long. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
That's where I go to the Chargers too, taking Herbert. I think it was an okay pick. I think that's what I suspected. I thought they were going to take Herbert. I thought it was a no-brainer. If they needed a quarterback, they have to get a quarterback. They're not going to go for one in free agency. Tyrod Taylor and him could battle it out. Herbert, many say, will take over probably halfway through the season. I think it's going to be Sam Darnold situation sort of thing. It's not a bad pick. I think it fits the Chargers pretty well. They got Austin Eckler in the backfield, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, talented guys. I think Tyrod Taylor is a good quarterback too. Herbert just gives them no more depth, and they have to go in free agency and spend money. They can maybe get other guys, and they could be a landing spot. So it wasn't a bad pick. Their defense, their defense is already pretty stacked, but I think it was an okay pick. Who knows what will happen? And then one more mediocre pick that I'd say. Man, I just don't know why. The cornerbacks, Falcons took A.J. Terrell. They do need cornerback help a lot. They definitely do need it. But I just feel like if they wanted, I don't know. I feel like the Giants and the Lions should have traded their picks. They had offers. They just didn't take them. Now, the Lions, sure, they got Jeff Okudah, a great cornerback, but they could have got a lot more value if they traded their pick. And same with the Giants. I don't think the Giants got the right guy, but that's the Giants. They do need an offensive lineman, but I think it was true, like you said, they should have traded their picks. The Lions and the Giants, in my opinion, lost, and so did the Falcons. But those top 4 spots. Andrew Thomas, Jeff Okudah, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a top 3 player in this draft, man. He's now Jalen Ramsey. He's good, but if there's gonna be a Jalen Ramsey in this draft, I got C.J. Henderson. Jaguars took. I think he's probably one of the top cornerbacks in this draft, along with the Vikings TCU pick. But there's no clear. That's the thing. There's no clear guy. That's why it's all ambiguous. You can't waste your draft picks. These draft picks are precious. That's why going to the second round, whoever lands Xavier McKinney as a safety, Maybe he
Yeah.
could play some cornerback. Who knows? But that's going to be a real key to see.
It's gotten to the point where with Xavier, I don't even care if the team has a positional need there. They should take him because he's just that talented.
Yeah. Xavier McKinney's a top 15 player in this draft. I'm just saying.
No doubt. He's top 15,
top
no
10
doubt.
Probably top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous that he hasn't been taken. I feel so bad for the dude. I can't wait for someone to give him the opportunity, but he's going to come in the league with a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's going to be great in that league. I think Okudah is a good pick. I do think he's the best corner in the draft, but there's so many stories to break down here. One of the trades or the picks that had me shaking my head a little bit, the Jets, I fully expect him to take a wide receiver with Jerry Jeudy still on the board, and they end up going with Mekhi Becton, who is good, but he's got concerns with his weight. He's got concerns with the PEDs and whatnot. So it's just a little more concerning. And to me, it was just too late to not take Jerry Jeudy. He slipped all the way to 15. Shout outs to 49ers. I think Javon Kinlaw was a good pick for them.
Maybe.
I like the Chargers going out and getting Kenneth Murray at 23. I think that was too late for him to go. One more thing I want to mention about this draft, the whole reaction, the entire story of Cesar Ruiz on Michigan, the center, taken by the Saints. That's what it's all about, This draft night and everything that's going on and all this analysis. Sometimes we lose sight of what really matters. And to me, his entire reaction, his story, it really brings you back to what football, what life is all about. I thought that was such a cool moment. I wish him all the best. I think he's going to be a great player in the league as well.
Not just his story too, but Ruggs has a great story. There's a lot of guys with incredible stories, and that's what's pretty amazing that when these guys go to the NFL and get drafted. But also, I want to say something about the Jets real fast about Becton. I think they needed an offensive tackle again. I would have traded. I don't know why you're taking offensive tackle. Sure, but they don't really. They do need a wide receiver, but they don't. They got Le'Veon Bell, and they do need to protect him. They do need an offensive line because he did nothing last year.
You saw what happened when they tried to run Le'Veon into the ground. His efficiency plummeted. So they need receiving threats if they're going to open up holes for him.
But teams are starting to build inside, then go out. You know what I mean? They're building their defensive line, their offensive line. So when it comes to that, you got to trade, though. I mean, I don't know why some teams just didn't trade. Maybe it's because it's virtual. Yep. Maybe just uncomfortable. The Packers shouldn't have traded. Like, teams that shouldn't be trading traded, and teams that should have traded didn't trade. This is a weird draft, but then again, there's a lot of talent in it. I'm excited for what's going to happen. I think we're going to have a season. I don't know about college football having a season, but I'm excited. I can't wait. I think a lot of teams did what they thought was best. I think one of the biggest shockers, though, was the Eagles at 21 taking Jalen Reagor. I don't know why they didn't take Justin Jefferson. He's like the next Alshon Jeffrey, in my opinion, or something like that. But there was a lot of surprises. I think the Eagles was one of the biggest ones that I saw. But I'm excited for this draft class. Who knows what will happen? We all could be wrong. Everyone said Aaron Rodgers. Picking Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre was quarterback was the craziest thing in the world. And look what happens. Tom Brady being picked and towards the end of the draft was crazy. He got picked. Gronkowski picking in the second round. There's a lot of guys. Wilson, second round. Russell Wilson, and Travis Kelce was third round. So there's a lot of things that could happen.
Yeah, never forget that Tom Brady, the most successful, if not the best quarterback of all time.
199th. Yep.
Pick out of Michigan.
Yep. 199th. Yep. And Carson Palmer was the first pick, I think, of that draft. And look good. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback, but he's Tom Brady.
He's no Tom Brady either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then again, anything can happen. It all depends on where you go. That's why Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs, I think they're both going to thrive in their own ways. But if you put them on different teams, they're going to thrive. So it all depends what your team go do. That's why I think teams do what they do, and it happens. Maybe that's why some teams are stuck in the rut and others aren't, because some think, some don't, to be honest. But it all comes down to a feeling deep inside sometimes, and that's what some people got to do. So who knows? I think definitely some winners. There were a lot of winners. There were a lot of losers. A lot of people have question marks. But a lot of teams got lucky. That's all I got to say. Because offensive linemen were heavily valued, but they should have been traded. They should have been traded. But that's why the Giants set the tone for the whole draft and they took an offensive tackle because then teams were like, oh, teams are going to be taking them. I got to take mine. That's why some guys in the group drafted, in my opinion, because the Giants set the tone for the whole entire draft.
Well, the domino effect is stupid, right? Because if you're taking guys at a position that other teams are taking, then it means the best ones are already off the board. So that's where, to me, the Jets would have been better off taking a wide receiver, being able to take Judy, or maybe even CeeDee Lamb, though I think Judy was the best.
Or traded
Or
at least.
trade their pick and try to get, because still Becton and Wirfs were on the board at that point. They still could have landed one of them lower. So
Yep.
a lot to break down. I guess the beauty of it all is that we could revisit this in 5 years, and it would look absolutely idiotic because maybe we don't know who's going to be a star in this league, and that's the beauty of the draft is that you have guys like Tom Brady who come out of nowhere and just shock the world, and through development and hard work and the system that they're put in and whatnot. I mean, we never know who's going to succeed, but shout outs to all these guys. Being a first round draft pick is so special. I really feel for Xavier McKinney, and I really hope he gets taken soon.
Well, and also look out for tonight, Jonathan Taylor. I think he's or gets him. It depends what team he goes to, but I think he's gonna be a stud, and also Swift. But also
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, there's a lot of different guys. I think running backs are going to be taken heavily in the second round today, just like offensive tackles were. But also, a quick shout out to the SEC. 15 draft picks, the most by any year. They SEC dominated. They showed their dominance today. I'm excited for the draft today. I hope Jalen Hurts gets picked. I think he's going to be a good, decent quarterback in the league. I think he's better than Justin Love maybe in some aspects, but we'll see what happens. So I'm excited for this draft class. And also, last thing I want to say, I think Jedrick Willis was the best offensive tackle in the league, and the Giants messed up once again, and that's why Saquon Barkley needs to get out of there because he's going to be stuck there for a long time if he doesn't do something because the Giants don't have potential, but they got a bad situation, so I got to say. And Saquon's too good to be there. So, I don't know. I got a lot to say, but
and so many great players. So many great players in the second round. You even think about some of the quarterbacks available. Jake Fromm, you got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean, so many good quarterbacks. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out. But that's our thoughts, and that should just about do it for today. So for me, for JD, we'll see you later, and stay safe.